Hey everybody, this is Joe from House of Stereo, and we are coming off a really awesome T+A weekend that we had this Friday and Saturday. And today, Hurricane Idalia is going by. We got really lucky. There wasn't a heck of a lot of wind or rain here in Jacksonville, so we got pretty lucky there. I'm very happy about that. What I'm here to talk about today is what has become a fairly elusive device from T+A, and that is the PSD 3100 HV. So in the high voltage line, of course, the A3000 amp should be instantly recognizable to anyone who has been into T+A, but this device, coming off the success of the streaming reference DAC, and then the SD 3100 HV, and then the SDV 3100 HV, the V indicates volume. They added the P3100 preamp stage to the SD reference DAC and created the SDV 3100. Well, the streaming reference DAC is a device absolutely on another level. But that is not to say that the MP3100, of which the PSD is based, is a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. For many years, for several years, we've done shows using the MP3100 DAC and esteem it very, very much. In fact, the DAC 200, while based on the architecture of the SD, the DAC 200 does not sound as good as the MP3100 HV, and that has to do with the high voltage nomenclature of this T+A line of products. So high voltage, they're running the power at a higher level. They're using extremely thick and heavy aluminum to create compartments. They're using dual power supplies. And this is true of all of the HV electronics. So the preamp has an analog and digital power supply. The MP, the SD, both of them, you drive it with two power cords because there are two separate supplies, and the PSD is one just like that. So what this is a preamp streaming DAC, new for 2023, and it really is something special. So like its big brother, the SD 3100, they're taking some of the best of T+A's substantial knowledge in digital music reproduction and combining it with the preamp for really a hell of a component. So what this is, like I said before, it's the P3100 and the MP3100. MP stands for multiplayer. What we lose from the MP3100 is the SACD player. So this is a device designed for people who are beyond CDs, beyond SACDs, but not all hope is lost. They've included the IPA link so that you can add the PDT Transport, which is the reference level SACD transport. The proprietary IPA link puts them both together, so you can have a 3-box solution with the A3000 amplifier, or you can of course use the formidable M40 HV, the T+A monoblocks with the 2 tubes on top, driven by the PSD. So the PSD, like I said, new for 2023. They've been working on it for a while. They made noise about it back in 2022. But it wasn't yet ready for prime time, and I believe that that's because the engineers at T+A were working on a 3rd generation network implementation. And so there's a new 3rd gen network card out there, and it's in here, which uses a quad-core processor to handle the digital, the network section. So what that does is that 3rd gen card gives you the ability to stream 24/384. It gives you the ability to stream DSD 256 over the network. Now, a lot of products out there, NAME was kind of an outlier because they could do 24/352, but I think they topped out at DSD 128, and it may even be 64. I'd have to go back and look. But now you're not limited to only USB DACs if you want to go into the higher bit rate data. So that's a very welcome thing for a lot of people who have a Roon nucleus or some other device, and that is stored on another side of the house now you can send that high bitrate audio to the PSD. So that's a very welcome change. In addition, T+A has their own software, the Music Navigator software, but this device also works directly with Qobuz, Tidal Connect, Deezer, Roon, of course. Roon certification is coming. We have tested it here, and it sounds amazing, honestly amazing. All of that kind of leads into the DAC, and so the DAC is super important, and we haven't covered the MP3100 yet either, so this is a good time to talk about both of those. What we have on the PCM stage is 8 Burr Brown chips, and 4 per side, and what it is a double differential quadruple converter. What that's doing is those 4 chips aside correct nonlinearities and reduces noise by about 6 decibels. Now that's on the PCM stage. The DSD stage is a separate piece of silicon, and it is a true 1-bit converter. Now a lot of DAC makers out there will accept a DSD natively, convert it to PCM, do the delta sigma modulation, and send it on down the line, where T+A keeps the DSD 100% DSD all the way through to the output stage. So in addition to that, they're including their 4 or 6 filters, Bezier 1 and 2, FIR long, FIR short, and then I believe non-oversampling 1 and 2 filters. In the DAC world, all right, and just personally, you know, through Wolf Audio Systems, we work with a lot of DACs. We've played with probably 1,000 DACs by now for our customers here in-house, doing testing, trying to create the very best audio server that we can. So when I say I have a little bit of experience with DACs, it's kind of an understatement. We play a lot with them. We live and breathe DACs. And so what I like so much about T+A is not only is their circuit design just absolutely top-notch. If you look at the USB board that they created for just the USB input from a server, it is a beautiful design, noise reducing, jitter reducing. It's a fabulous design that plays very well. But then Siggy and team created 4 filters for the filters for DSD, filters for PCM. You have Bezier 1 and 2, which is a mathematical curve. And Bezier doesn't have anything to do necessarily with audio, but Bezier is the mathematical curve for how the data is interpreted. So I like that because in a lot of DACs without the filters, the designer decided on one method for interpreting the data and said this is going to be good for all. But depending on your system, depending on your speakers, depending on a lot of factors, you may find that you prefer one over the other. And so being able to tune that DAC in to the exact sound that fits your tastes, it's extremely important. The DSD section is a true 1-bit DSD stage. What it does is they keep all of the audio in the DSD realm. They don't convert it to PCM as some DAC makers do. It's DSD all the way through to the output stage, which I like very much. In addition, the PCM stage features 4 per side, 8 Burr Brown chips in the double differential quadruple converter design is what they call it. And what that does is it corrects nonlinearities and it reduces noise by a further 6 decibels.